A very warm welcome to you all. Our guest tonight is Nishta Goopee. She is the founder of Graphology and Holistic Empowerment School. And tonight, during this episode of One on One, Nishta is going to explain to us the concept of handwriting analysis. Nishta, thank you so much for joining us in the studio of the MBC.
Good evening, Koil. Thank you for having me on your show.
Nishta, most of us don't give a second thought when it comes to our handwriting. Yet, it is heavily influenced by our emotion. Explain to us this correlation between our emotion and our handwriting.
Absolutely, Koil. So we tend to be mechanical when it comes to habits, and we rarely stop to think about um, our internal ecosystem, the internal factors that drive our habits, our choices, even. Um, so there are nerves at the tips of our fingers that are connected to our brains. So whatever we are doing ultimately reflects what is in our conscious mind and in our unconscious system as well. So be it cooking, writing, painting, playing music, or even touching someone, your gesture, your action eventually reveals your traumas, your feelings, your intentions. Uh, Also, it can reveal your energy level. It can also reveal diseases that you might be harboring in your physical body.
So, in that sense, can it also reveal our personality?
Yes, absolutely. When we speak of graphology, um, we also refer to a signature. We refer to very specific traits, like the pressure of the pen, the choice of the ink that you're using, the hooks, the loops, the slants, the margins, the crossbars. So there are so many factors to be considered on a standard sample. And we have to be clinically precise during our analysis. And for this, we absolutely need to use a magnifying glass as well.
So, in that sense, Nishta, uh, does our childhood traumas, I don't know, our life experiences, all have an impact on the way we write? But then, can we use it to better our lives now, to have a better impact on our future?
Absolutely. So when a person is writing, um, his handwriting reveals his relationship with his parents in the past, whether he's been close to his mother, whether he's been closer to his father, whether he's had conflicts with his father in the past, and that these conflicts are still affecting him um, during his adult years. We can also understand his current relationships with his parents, whether he finds them too overwhelming, whether he feels disconnected from them, whether he's got conflicts with both of them, or whether he feels the absence of a mother figure or
In his whole life, yeah.
yes. So all of that is reflected in his handwriting. So when we speak of self-empowerment, the alphabet I stands for this person. Alphabet I represents your spine. It represents your core essence, your identity, right? And the top bar represents the mother, and the lower bar represents the father. So by analyzing minute details in just one alphabet, we can learn so much about a person's childhood years, about his adult years also, about his relationships, about his feeling of belonging, about his family setting. Yes, so there's so much that can be revealed, but there's also the possibility of changing our handwriting to sort of heal our relationships with our parents.
So, how does graphotherapy work? Is there any type of alphabet or any type of particular way of writing should we practice in order to
Absolutely.
achieve what we want in life?
Yes. So prior to suggesting graphotherapy, we need a thorough analysis.
Okay.
And that begins with, first of all, consent. So ethically, we do not analyze anyone's signature or his handwriting without his consent. right? And then we have a standard sheet to use as sample. The content depends on the participant. So we analyze the several factors, in fact, the slants, the pressure, the margins. We analyze the amount of space that has been taken on the sheet. So there's a lot that can be revealed on through that sample, right? For instance, through one sheet you can decipher the all the puzzling elements that we find about a person. We tend to get curious about people. We stalk them on the social media to find out what their life is all about. But just by looking at one sheet, you can actually know at what time this person started his day, at what time he's been most productive, at what time he's likely to sleep.
Okay.
Right? So whether it's a day gone by or a day that's ongoing, a sheet will reveal 24 hours of that person's life.
Give us some examples, maybe, what specificities in the handwriting can reveal about our life, about how our day is going to be, and yes, our hobbies, maybe.
So when you analyze the line spacing, that gives us an idea of the time management skills of the person. So basically the sheet can be divided into 24 hours,
Okay.
and based on these segments, we can understand at what time which segment of his day has been most packed, and which segment of his day is lighter as compared to the other segments.
Nice.
Yes.
But do you think there is enough awareness around the impact of handwriting?
There has been much research around this topic. Unfortunately, it's not taught it's not taught in many countries. So I think that graphology should be taught not just to students but also to teachers, because when we're teaching students to write, we should also be able to understand the implication of certain alphabet formations. Some alphabet formations can make us more aggressive. So when we're speaking of class management, right? When we're speaking of the whole issue of aggressivity, when we're speaking of, let's say, the inability to socialize, right? All of these are problems that we encounter on a day-to-day basis at school, right? So certain alphabet formations can reinforce those harmful traits, if I can call them this way, or they can just empower the student to have more self-control, to be expressive in a healthy way as well. Yes.
So to what extent can altering one's handwriting help in affecting circumstances which one is going through?
When you're writing, it's sending a direct message to your subconscious mind, and your subconscious mind will eventually create your reality. So whatever you write becomes your destiny. In terms of education, when when we give students essays to write, we have to be careful. Let's say they're writing about violence, about murder, about death. So eventually, that might replicate in the lives of these learners. And we don't want them to experience aggressivity, to experience scenes of violence, or to become violent, right? Whatever you write is actually programming you. And let's say you're writing affirmations. I know many who love to journal. I know many who love to write affirmations. But you can you can really speed up the whole process by altering your handwriting, right? If you want to manifest um, wealth, for instance. Um, there are certain alphabet formations that will help you get there. These formations will program you to reach there faster. Uh, if you're writing that I'm wealthy and not writing Y with a complete loop, you're programming yourself to leave your tasks incomplete in the first place. And that's not how you get rich.
Yes.
Right? So whatever you do with your fingers will have a direct impact on your subconscious mind and eventually on your physical reality. That is your future. So when you're writing your affirmations, you are essentially writing your life script. We love to consult horoscopes. We love to, ask for second opinions. But really, our destiny is something that is dynamic. Destiny is not static. We are not born condemned to remain in a particular situation. Right? As humans, we are essentially infinite. Our potential is infinite. And even the potential of graphology and graphotherapy is infinite. We can do a lot with graphology. By changing our letter formations, we can balance both sides of our brains. We can, let's say, you're better with in the artistic side, and you're slower with mathematics, right? So to balance these two, you need to um, you need to change the way you write alphabet M or alphabet A even. So just knowing how to write your alphabet will help you tremendously in your academic life and also in your professional life.
So basically, it's a way to rewire our mindset, right?
Absolutely. So you're fine tuning yourself,
Yes.
right? So we tend to believe that we're born in a box and we're condemned to live the way we are. But we can rewire ourselves on a day-to-day basis. We can reinvent ourselves. We put a lot of focus on our external environment, on our external appearance. But what about the internal ecosystem? What about uh, our internal health? Right? That's even more important because what is inside of you will impact what is outside of you. Normally, we recommend graphology for people who are above 14. 14 because at this age, a child has enough, a child's bones are well formed and well structured enough to hold a pen and write with stability, right? So adults can use graphology as a tool to empower themselves. In fact, no matter your health condition, whether you are expecting a baby or whether you have issues with regarding focus, so graphology and graphotherapy can help you rewire yourself.
Okay. And how is signature analysis different from handwriting analysis? Does it have an impact on our life, on the way we think?
Absolutely. So your handwriting is a reflection of who you are as a person, and your signature is your logo. It's your social identity. It's how the world perceives you, right? So a person can lie, but his handwriting will never lie, right? And when it comes to signature, that has a that has a great deal to do with our success, with our performance in the world out there, right? So when you're striking off your signature, you're essentially erasing, you're denying your identity in the public world. And if you are someone who is seeking a leadership position, then striking your name will eventually backfire. You're programming yourself to just deny your identity, to not understand who you are.
So Nishta, what might a poor handwriting indicate?
So if your handwriting is messy, don't worry. It means that you're only a quick thinker. So the faster you think, the messier your handwriting is likely to be.
Nishta, but what motivated you to set up Graphology School?
Yes, so I was 15 years old when I was told that I had messy handwriting. So I designed a whole set of handwriting pattern for myself that made me feel comfortable with myself. At that time, I had no idea about graphology or even graphotherapy. At a later point, when I started teaching, I would try to guess the moods of my students by observing their handwriting. So students tend to be unpredictable sometimes. So one way to understand them, whether they're going to be calm in class today, is by having a look at their handwriting. Um, Eventually, I started this eco writers project for Octrosphere. I started with eco pens and eco pencils, so it was to address the whole concept of writing consciously, caring for the environment, the external environment. But the whole segment of caring for the internal environment started years later. So Octrosphere was where I started small. I didn't know how to start a school, how to run an organization in the first place. So I self-taught myself. Um, and when I started this school, began to address the other aspect of being an eco-writer, that is graphology. Caring for our external environment is important, and it's also important to care for our internal environment. There's so much to learn about pens, not just the history of writing, but there's a lot that actually can be discovered when it comes to this writing tool. Yeah.
So it's been how many years that you practice graphology, and how do you see that impact in your life now?
So I've been practicing it since I was a teenager.
And you didn't know about it, right?
Yeah. So I've been practicing it unconsciously,
Exactly.
but there came a point when I decided to study it really, to explore this whole psychology, this whole science behind handwriting. Yeah. And when we talk of handwriting, it's also important to explore the concept of doodling also. When you look at the page, at the copybooks of students, it's not just what they've written in the front pages that matter. The last page of every student's copybook has a lot to say about them, and
It's
that
always
can be
messy, I
used.
know.
Yeah, that can be used for student profiling, because the doodles that they make reflect their emotional health, their well-being.
Okay.
Yes, a lot of information can be gathered on the from the last page of their copybooks.
Students might be cautious now about what they are going to write, about what they are going to doodle in their last page. But Nishta, what's the main values of graphology? What's your vision of that school?
First of all, it's to honor our internal and our external ecosystems. And secondly, is to increase the happiness index of people.
Was it difficult to choose that path of an entrepreneur?
It was not difficult because I was very sure about what I wanted to achieve, and I've been very clear about what I stood for.
Were there challenges that you had to overcome in your journey?
Yes, challenges have been many, but let's say that receiving unasked advice, this is one of the most irritating experience ever. So because only you have the dream, only you have the vision, only you know what you want to achieve. So having advice from all sides, having people who feel entitled to measure your worth, measure your dreams, measure the potential of your vision, that's not always nice. So it's very important to have boundaries. It's very important to be selective about the people that we are surrounded. It's very important for us to be selective about the people around us, and absolutely crucial. It's absolutely crucial for us to be clear about our sense of self, about our purpose, about our values, our principles, about what we stand for.
Nishta, what are some mindful activities that you may recommend youngsters to practice then in order to help their handwriting match their future or their wishes?
Right? So I'd recommend doodling. Yeah, it's something that they generally do in class when they're bored. Right? Other than that, anything that involves their hands or their feet, that works just great. For as long as you're physically active, whether through music instruments, whether you're drawing, you're painting, whether you're hugging your parents, all of these eventually rewire your internal system.
We are actually drawing toward the end of this episode, but before that, Nishta, what are your future goals now? Are there any particular project that you're working on?
Yes, we're working on the Eco Writers project. That is, we're supplying eco pens and eco pencils. That is, writing tools made from recycled materials, and also getting plastic pens upcycled, because our pens not only represent us, but also represent our evolution. So we need to be able to upcycle whatever we bring to the table and not cause damage to others, right? So the Eco Writers project is also about the internal ecosystem, and yes, we are promoting graphology.
And what's your advice that you would like to give to our youngsters to encourage them to live their passion like you are doing?
Just go for it. So whatever you wish to achieve, just make sure that you feel good about yourself, and just remember that you're always an expression of the holy universe.
Thank you so much, Nishta. It was such a delight to have you on the set tonight and learn more about this wonderful concept of handwriting.
Thank you, Koyal. So the pleasure was all mine.
Dear viewers, we have now come to the end of this episode. We hope to catch you next week at the same time, same channel. Have a great evening.